Some of the best yet. Some of the best yet. They bite like that, like that, like that. Big bass, double digits.
Kick up the fire right on top.
Low fog, blast off, trying to get some cast off. Doing this here for years, get my pass on. Stream mask on, putting in work. Snap back, got me focused, never settle on a shirt. I miss.
Skyed fish.
This is a different angle.
We have a camera on the net, on that hideous net.
Nice coloured water.
I think I said nice coloured net. Okay, let's really make sure when you get him up.
How will this go back home?
Watch. Dude, help me.
Hey, not even.
Oh!
It's Josh and Ron, is it?
No, Josh is the other side.
It's you.
Yeah, we lost. It was utter mayhem at that point.
Yeah. But you can see,
What about the Yielding one?
Oh, we got that too.
it's there.
Oh, that's Yielding, is it?
No, this is the Murray
Oh,
yesterday.
right, yeah. See, those ones in Yielding are pigs.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good fish.
Pigs.
Yeah.
Both 50 centimetres.
Eh?
They're both 50 centimetres.
Yeah.
Is that a good one? That's my first yellow belly.
Good yellow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I can catch bigger than that without a hook.
Oh. I want
You
to
ask
see that.
Cal.
Right.
We're over at Eildon, and Cal's got his rod and he's down there and he hooked him and he's winding the yellow up and he was about, that big, but it must have been a female and all the males were coming up with him. And there was one about that big, so I put that net down and I got him.
Two
Mine.
for one.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
Hey!
2 for 1.
Chasing girls to get you in trouble every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, we went back into the bank and some bloke was in there fishing and he said, "Oh, they're not biting much, are they?" And Kel said, "No." we got one yellow about that big and another one about that big, but they're all deep, you know. Oh no, we didn't do any good. We weren't game enough to show them what we had in the boat.
That's great. So what do you think about what your boys are doing now with the catch and release and how things have changed? What do you think of it?
Well, that's why the game's on. So us blokes that did those sort of things, that was the name of the game.
Right.
You fished and you kept it
Yep.
and you ate it. Now it's changed. They catch it, they put it back. So you only take, if you're a fish eater, well, you take one to eat and the rest go back. You're only allowed one now anyway. One. And two in Eildon, isn't it? 2 in Eildon, 1 in the rivers.
Don't know.
Did this fish-
55, 75 and all over, you've got to put back. And all under 55, they've got to go back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fish actually had a tag.
Yeah.
So we got the tag.
Huh?
He had a tag in him.
Oh, did he?
So we got the number, so we're going to send it away and get all the info.
You might get a big quid. Should have been here a couple of weeks ago and got, that would have won 80,000.
I brought it up to him. I was like, hey, you got a tournament? Let's fish it. He's like, nah.
80,000, that would have got you.
I could have used that. I could have bought more baits.
Bloke at Aubrey got it.
Oh.
Metre 10.
Metre 10, was it? I think
Metre
so.
10. No, a metre 9.57 or something.
Yeah, you can't round that up. It's
Yeah.
a meter 9.
Yeah, metre 9. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. But, you know, what we did in those days, well, you know, I suppose it had to happen, you know.
It did. I think it's part of
Yeah.
the natural process and
Yeah.
evolution of the sport. Because the same thing happened at home with the big bass.
See, I when I started working for as a plumber apprentice, I was getting Kel might knock it down. I was getting 27 and 6 a week.
I never worked out what that equates to in dollars. It's not much.
27. That's a quid. That
doesn't help me.
Oh, yeah.
It's not much.
No.
Right?
Well, so, and it was after the war, and to buy tools you had to have a permit. You couldn't go and buy a hammer, or you couldn't buy a saw, you couldn't buy a wrench or anything. You had to have a permit. You had to have so many permits to buy whatever tool it was.
Wow.
Anyway, I went to Melbourne, and that was my first year. I went to Melbourne to my cousin's place, and I got off the train, and there was a big steel shed, and this bloke was just like, what would you call it? Black market selling tools.
Ah.
So I went in there and I got 2 wrenches, I got a pair of tin snips, I got a hammer, and something else. But I didn't have enough money, so I borrowed the money off my auntie, and then I went back as I was going home on the train because I run out of money and I owed money. So I said to her, well, I'll send the money to you. So when I was coming home on the train, I thought, well, I've still got about another week or so many days left before I had to go back to work. So I went out, what I was saying to you, to the cemetery, and I put all my sticks in, and there was a pipe about that big, and it come from the overflow of the channel. The channel, when they put too much water in the channel, it'd overflow, go down under the bridge and into this pipe, and then run into the river. I put a stick there and a stick there, with a pipe in the middle. When I went in the morning, I had one there and one there. I got 5 fish. And I was back the next day, and I got some more down further. And 2 bob a pound. I sold the fish, got me money, and sent it back to her the next day.
Hey.
Yeah. That's how I got me tools. I did catching them. 2 bob a pound. They'd see us ride the bike from our place around the corner, and there was one bloke, he was a bricklayer. He said, I'll have a fish, Keith, I'll have a fish. And I said, well, I haven't got him yet. And he said, well, when you get him, I'll buy one. So
Taking orders.
yeah, oh yeah. It is, Jesus, yeah, they used to love that. Especially Easter time, see? Anyway, fish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a special thing you guys have going on here. Most of my friends in the States don't even know about the existence of this fish.
You wouldn't see many of them. You wouldn't see many of them. Most of those big fish, they all come out of the Murray. When someone got a big fish, you'd hear about it. You know, around the town, so-and-so got a 40-pounder or a 50-pounder down the Goulburn, you know. But all the big fish that used to be hanging up in the shops always come from the Murray. There was a place over at Echuca, and it was a fish shop, and they used to have them big blokes hanging up because they were buying them off the professionals. Because over that way they gave licenses to certain blokes to net them. And they're putting those drum nets in with the wings on the side.
Do you know what a drum net is?
You know what a drum net is? You know what a tree cage is like? You know, you put a tree and then you put a cage around it.
Okay.
It's round.
Yeah.
Well, they get them. They're about that wide, and then they put a funnel.
Okay.
Put a funnel into
So it's
the
an
middle.
oversized minnow trap.
Yeah, and then they'd run a wing out the side, like that.
Okay.
And they'd put a pole there and tie the wing up. The fish would come down the bank, feeding, and he'd hit the wing and he'd work himself along the wing and then he'd go through the hole and into the net.
So no bait or anything in the trap?
No bait.
Right. They would
No
just
bait.
swim in and never
Yeah.
swim
You
out.
can't lose the funnel
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
And then,
Well, them blokes, them blokes to make it profitable would have to be catching at least 10 of them a week, at least.
So that has a big impact on the rivers, right? Like
Oh
over the
well,
years.
like in certain parts of the Murray, they had like a picket with a number on it,
Okay.
and that bloke that had that licence, he couldn't go past that ticket all that way. See,
Oh, he had a
he had a
section.
certain section of the river.
Got
that was
you.
his.
Okay.
He couldn't go down further into another bloke's spot. He only could stay there. But he didn't have to because they're just continuously getting fish all the time.
Wow.
But anyway, they got rid of, well, then they bought a licence in that you could have 2 set lines. And a lot of people were still catching fish on the set line. So then they scrubbed the set line, and now you could have 3 or 4 fish or whatever it was. Well, now it's only 1 fish, and it used to be 50 centimetres, or when at one period, as I was saying, one period, you could take a fish that big. There was no limit on the size. So they were taking every fish. Well, then they brought in a size limit. But this sort of fishing is probably here now. I don't know how smart these fish are going to get.
Well, if they're anything like our fish, they
Yeah.
get pretty conditioned pretty quickly. Within a couple generations, probably they're gonna get pretty hard to catch, especially as this catch and release
Yeah.
culture.
Do you reckon
continues.
they've got a brain?
They definitely have a brain. How much capacity that brain is capable of, that's always.
You reckon well, you take the ducks, you shoot some of the ducks, and then you go back the next day, instead of being, say, 50, there's only 20. And then you shoot a few more, and then you come back the next time, and there's only about a dozen or 5. So they're woke up. If you go there, you get shot.
Right.
Well, does the fish do the same thing? He caught me with that certain lure.
Right.
Is he going to get sucked in for the same lure?
I would say typically no.
Because a mate of mine, his son made all the codger lures, the little fellas like that. Now, every time, like we'd be fishing with him, every time he brought out a new coloured lure, we'd get fish, wouldn't we? You blokes made some colours up, and I got him to paint one of those codgers blue and so forth. We went out.
Blue and orange?
And we went out there. Sure enough, we got fish. Then there was another one called frog. It had a pattern like a frog, green, white spots.
Right.
Well, there was that many fish being caught on the frog that at that stage he couldn't make enough of them.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden they stopped biting on them, and they have to come another colour.
Yeah, it continues on today.
Yeah.
It really does.
You've got to chuck something different at them.
Like the first time we threw a spinnerbait. Do you remember we threw a
Yeah,
spinnerbait?
wow.
And fish would climb over the log almost to get it.
Yeah. Well, I reckon they've woke up to that.
Yeah. In some places.
Well, I'm not saying they won't, but
I think honestly that's kind of what is intriguing about this trophy freshwater fishing, is because these fish do become conditioned, and it seems like they become smarter, so it keeps challenging us to be smarter, to
what do you
outwit
reckon?
them.
I reckon they get smarter.
If they don't, they get caught and they die.
We were fishing up at Bunalong, that's bottom end of Mulwala, and we were going along the bank, and Bruce had a new lure on. What was it? Red, wasn't it?
Red
Huh?
codger.
A red codger, red. And he threw it like that, just out the back of his boat, and this thing come out and just went like that and went
Gone.
gone. Broke the line, everything.
Oh no, that kind of
Well,
gone.
I reckon we went back there. Oh, every time we went there, we went back to that log to try and get him. No, he wasn't there. It was a beautiful log. No, he wasn't there. Well, then we had the creek the creek came into another creek, and there was a hole on the end, and there's a codger on the wall. We'd call it Lollipop. It was orange
Okay.
and yellow.
And pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, pink and yellow.
Man, you guys love those colors here.
13 cod we caught out of that one hole.
On that bait.
Yeah, on that one lure in that one hole.
Wow.
And you could fish it and fish it. After you got the one, you wouldn't get any more.
Okay.
So when you come back next week and you went into it, you'd get another one.
Mm.
So that meant that he was gone, another one would
Replaced
move
it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that fish that was in that hole, they're territorial.
Okay.
They've done a survey over in the river, and this river nearly went dry, and they reckon that all the cod either died or they went back into the main stream. Anyway, the people, when the water came down and filled that creek again, the government or the fishery and games did a survey on to see if the fish were back in the creek. And when they done the survey, they had a bet on with one of the blokes said, well, there's no more fish in the creek. He said, I'll bet you a box of beer that the fish have come back. And sure enough, when they done the survey, all those snags that had cod under them previously all had fish back under them.
Wow.
So they came back to their spot.
Mm-hmm.
So the Territorial,
That's cool.
yeah. So that bloke there, you caught him and then you let him go. He'd probably go back somewhere around where where he lives. Well, I don't think they travel very far.
Okay. That's good insight.
We'll find out. That's the beauty of the tag.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
be able to see.
Yeah, there's real science
He
behind
might,
it now.
he might next
Really?
time they go back, it might go 122.
Oh.
121 point anything. That's
They're
fine.
They'll stretch him. You hang on here, Josh, and pull it a bit more.
Anything we got to 121.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a special thing you guys have here. I hope you guys realize it. And it seems like at least the fisheries definitely does.
Wow. Yeah.
This is a pretty unique freshwater game fish.
Who
We get excited over a 4-pounder.
LRPs. Some of the best yet. Some of the best yet. They bite like that, like that, like that. Big bass, double digits.
Kick up the fire right on top.
Low fog blast off, trying to get some cast off. Doing this here for years, get my pass on. Stream mask on, putting in work. Snap back, got me focused, never settle on a shirt. I missed one and hit one, man, that's getting some. 2, 3, 4, 5 more, come on, that's ripping up. The way the bass miss sticking, the way my fingers.